Rough Riders is an action drama history war western miniseries that aired on July 20th, 1997 on TNT. It was directed and co-written by John Milius. I've never shared this before on my channel, but John Milius is my favorite movie director. I enjoyed much of his work like Conan the Barbarian, Red Dawn, and he even wrote Magnum Force. But what do I think of this miniseries? Well, you will find out in this video. This is a two-part miniseries about the Rough Riders, who were a group of soldiers Theodore Roosevelt assembled to fight in the Spanish-American War. I fucking love the idea, and it's great seeing it come to life in this series. I also think that this series is well written. Well, for the most part, but more on that later. I particularly like the scene when Roosevelt makes a speech of why America should go to war with Spain. Roosevelt makes excellent points, and it just fucking invigorates me. I also like how that Roosevelt's wife is very supportive of her husband fighting in the war. Normally the wife would not want the husband to go off, but they managed to avoid that trap. At least with Roosevelt. They do it with another man and wife, which honestly I didn't really care for, but whatever, I guess they tried. I will say some of the scenes leading up to the actual war are pretty damn entertaining and memorable. Like the outdoor party, the patriotic send-off, or the part when a bunch of soldiers flash their asses on the train. The training sequences were interesting, at least. Not much I can say about them. Now, I have to say, the second part of the miniseries feels like it was written by the other writer, and the other writer did not share Milius's views. I say this because a lot of the dialogue in the midway part with the soldiers talking is almost trying to argue against the first part, what the first part was trying to build up. It's confusing, it's frustrating, and honestly not even that fascinating. I especially fucking hate when the painter says it's not true that the soldiers were eager to fight. If Generation Kill taught me anything, it's that don't assume that every soldier thinks the same way. And if you think that soldiers aren't eager to fight, you're lying to yourself. Though I will say I like the conversation between a soldier and Roosevelt during a rainy night. Sure, it starts out pretty terribly, but when asked about what he wants to do when this night is over, he says he plans on eating a huge piece of meat, drinking a beer, and hiring a prostitute. He asks if that's too much to ask. Roosevelt says no. I honestly agree with him. I think after winning the Spanish-American War, I think you've earned all that shit. I also like how it does not look at hedonism in a cynical way like so many other goddamn American pieces of media seem to do. It actually sees merit in that philosophy. As a bonus, one of the soldiers later says, Sorry, got a notification. As a bonus, one of the soldiers later says, in being here, he has never felt more alive than he is right now, and intends to stay that way. This could almost be Milius providing a counter-argument to the painter's, or by extension, the other writer's comments. See, I'm able to find a ton of fucking subtext in this miniseries. But the other thing that I like about this miniseries is the battle sequences. They are fucking awesome. Plenty of gunshots, cannon fire, and even some blood to make things more impactful. They are filmed and edited very nicely, and it's honestly pretty satisfying. both in the amount of action and the fact that those Spanish bastards get what's coming to them for their tormenting of Cuba, or the Cuban people. Even though Roosevelt's son dies in the battle, he does say he's alright afterward. And you know what? I think he's serious. He still has his other children, and his army just won the war. And most importantly, he is able to come home safely. Roosevelt even says that each of these men were really brave for what they did. So yeah, the series ends on a pretty uplifting note. Milius does believe in a lot of 19th century ideals like honor, chivalry, loyalty, bravery. And I think that this series shows some of that. While admittedly the second part is rough around the edges, no pun intended, I do think this series as a whole is really damn good. It's also unique because I feel that there are not enough movies or other mediums that cover the Spanish-American War. Granted, it wasn't a very long war, but I still wish there was more. It is also extremely patriotic, which is a plus in my book. The emotion I felt during some of it was really genuine. The battle sequences were fucking glorious. And for all the reasons that I mentioned in this video, Rough Riders gets the Spike Robot badge of approval. If you like this video and you want to see more, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I'm Spike Robot saying, see you next time, and honor the freedom jingoes.